I'm not going to deny that I have some complex feelings about nostalgia and how others perceive it, as I have expressed previously. I don't mind a throwback or a reference or hell, something that replicates or is reminiscent of something old school. I do see the charm in some older mediums and methods, and what they did to get to where they are. I do like some old things, old cars, old music, old games, old videos, old aesthetics, old technology, and just enjoying them and appreciating them as is, and learning what they did. But I always have a problem with people. This doesn't go for everybody, and in fact, I think some people might even agree with this. But with any kind of following, or fandom, or mindset, or inner fucking circus, there's going to be those that will always warp anything into something much more gross and disconnecting, and it feels more rooted in bullshit and ego than anything else. And nostalgia is no fucking exception. In fact, I would fucking say it's worse with nostalgia. And you know what I'm talking about. Back in my day this, wrong generation that, slime in one ear, slime in the other.
Just stop talking!
And you know it's fucking bad when you realize a kiddie pool has more depth than these kinds of people. Because the past is what they rely on the most, to at least make them look more important than anyone else. They're practically codependent on it. When you got a bunch of depressed, desperate, smelly testicles that really have nothing to offer, they're burnt out, they're insecure, they're sad, they cling on to the memories they have, which are more likely fuzzy or from another era before they were even born. And they want to flash back to the past where everything was better and put on those rose-tinted glasses when any logical person knows that simply isn't true. But they still want to be respected and don't know how to gain it. So now they gotta start making things harder for everyone else, going after people younger than them, saying the most retarded shit ever heard by a sentient being. Oh, 1940, that was a good year. Was it? Okay, so it was okay for some, but not for everyone else. Expect these kinds of people to be hopeless romantics, not history experts. Or how about seeing some schmuck literally plead superiority over people, just because they were born in 1999? Yeah, I can see you're all out of fucking ideas here. Scraping the bottom of the barrel and demoralizing a bunch of strangers, literally just because they were born in 2000 or 2001. Oh, what a fucking difference that makes, huh? Oh, I get it. You're just pretending to be better than everyone. It's degrading and embarrassing, and I would even say fucking incestuous at some points, because it's artificial entitlement. Just fucking existing at some point in history, then actually doing shit, feels like a lame excuse to have bragging rights. I mean, yeah, fucking ingenious, absolutely masterclass. Like that somehow puts you above a random 4th grader that's been living off of Prime and Wraith videos.
Alright people, what's up? I think I am convinced that dead internet theory is real. I think it's time to conclude the video.
This guy sucks.
And what is arguably even more insulting is when they're only boasting because they got a basic understanding, or went with the popular opinion, that now all of a sudden their mind eye is open to all the cultures of the world, and they can get back to bashing teenagers and kids, or anything new, just because.
I think a lot of people had a phase being too good for all those new things that could never compare to the old. This one is simple. Being a contrarian by hating new games and new movies and new shows, oftentimes without having actually watched them or played them or whatever. But when nostalgia is turned from a love and appreciation of the past into a spiral of hate on things that are new, I think people do themselves a disservice. It's a path of resentment and negativity, as well as making you become more insulated and stubborn, dismissing new things out of hand.
And then you have those types that all of a sudden act so fucking pretentious, like they got some higher thinking, and think whatever was old was barbaric and gross and by default is inferior, pretty much having no concept of different ideas, culture, history, or even change, which is no fucking better.
Somebody got a near-death experience and they're looking at things a little different, or it's just weird and it doesn't matter at all.
And you just know that these are the same kinds of people that say that they mastered empathy at the age of 30.
Maybe it could be about a tragically heartbreaking story, or it could, or the lyrics could be written by someone with special needs.
Motherfucker, this is not how you teach someone the joys of old media and technology. This is how you end up with a screwed up kid and a fucking TikTok addiction. I mean, that's a great way for if you want to get into some of the older stuff, but don't pretend that there isn't more stuff out there that you could like. But some people don't really go into it. It's fine if they're not interested, but these people for some reason produce the most dumb shit reasons why they don't. Like because of some arbitrary things like a score on a random site or some shit. I shit you not, I fucking know someone who wouldn't watch Get Backers when I tried recommending it to them. Not because they weren't interested, but because it's below an 8 out of 10 on fucking my anime list. You know, a good and respectable source that is something reliable and dependable and reliable, and the show itself is rated at 7.6 out of 10, so it's not even that far off. So what the fuck? My patience is so fucking thin at this point, it almost warrants a fucking video on that dunce because of how retarded and up their own ass that kind of thought process is. Like fucking try something, why don't ya? Take a chance! Okay. Alright. Tangent over. What? Did you think I was going to blue balls you throughout the whole video? Who the fuck do you think I am? Automatic pause? With all that being said, I do have an interest in modern games that do pay homage to some of the older style of games, that invokes that cozy, chunky, but also bold and out there feeling, whilst being original in its own way. I'm honestly glad I'm able to experience this sort of thing. I wanted to get into some of the older consoles early in my life, but I didn't have the money or the space for it. And I wasn't tech savvy. Shit, even to this day, I'm still pretty stupid. So for me, playing something that at least calls back to that earlier era of gaming is comfy for me, and actually refreshing to play a game that actually feels like a game when everyone keeps stressing about HD graphics or DLCs or whatever the fuck.
Dude, have you played that game? Mario Kart World is so dope. And then we have these setups where we combine the virtual world with the real world, so we're right next to each other. In case you didn't know, I take on the ground. This is where I lay in the shower. I lay here on the ground. That's my enema bucket. That's my enema bucket right there. This is Mr. Enema Bucket. That's coffee, Kion coffee, the best kind, so I can drink some of the coffee both ways.
Some people do go that extra mile and really dig in for them authenticity brownie points, whilst others are more inspired by it and would rather do whatever they want based on that era, which is fine too. Well, unless it's Splitgate Ironworks and they're fucking phoning it in because the boss spent all of everyone's wages on V-Bucks or crypto. And what sparked this interest for me was this game that I saw a while back, when it just came out on Steam. Macbat 64 is a simple game that serves as a love letter to, well, if you couldn't take a fucking guess, the Nintendo 64, primarily in the style of games Rare used to develop, before being taken out back and raped in the ass, like Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, and Conker's Bad Fur Day, with some other subtle references to other games on other consoles like the PlayStation 1 and Sega Dreamcast, or the Super Nintendo if you're going for Easter eggs. Published and developed by Marcus Horn, also known as Ciactro, who actually has been toying with this kind of style even before Macbat, like with Silver Trigger 64, an on-rail shooter where you're in the role of a wheelchair-bound British agent, or you could be playing as Q. And Kiwi 64, a collectathon that deliberately blue balls you into not completing it.
But if you find a key, the Kiwi 65 cartridge tells you to collect 60 clefs, but I could only find 59 of them, and so did everyone else. I was obsessively looking for that 60th clef, looking up walkthroughs online, and they couldn't find it. Yeah, I beat the evil Melon King, but where was that clef? I wanna play Kiwi 65. Believe me, that was not an accidental design flaw. No, that was intentional.
His itch.io page even says he's trying to bring back the late 1990s game by game, which he has been doing since. Macbat looks to be where Ciactro decided to do more with his passion. Not just try something simple, but make his world a little more expansive. Sure, that means more variety, but does he do much with it?
A long time ago. Almost 2 years now. Kiwiland was ruled by the evil Melon King. Only one flightless bird was brave enough to stop his reign of terror. And so the little bird saved all of Kiwiland, and the galaxy was at peace.
The plot of this game is not much. But before that, we gotta get this parrot drunk. So he starts lore dumping and attempts to murder everyone in this room. We can talk to some of the customers who got their own thing going on, and even the Kiwi from Kiwi 64 who's...
Yeah, I beat the evil Melon King, but where was that Clef? I wanna play Kiwi 65.
Yeah, you have fun with that. But we're broke, and a drink only costs 3 coins. That's fucking outrageous, man. How am I supposed to get a kid's meal now? And my $50 Steam cards! Are you booking for an early retirement? I don't even have a proper house, I live in a cave! Ha, get it? 'Cause he bet! Thankfully, this bar's got money laid all over the place, and I bet this bartender won't mind if I head in the back to find some spare change. To which you're gonna be introduced to some puzzles. Apart from this place, they're never seen anywhere else. Oh god, is this the beer tank or the piss tank? Oh, you are fucking vile. You even have someone down here! Wait, Grog?
My brother, I am from Boston, man. Spaghetti, forget about it. All that. I am going to drink a grog. Smoke out a plant.
So because the evil melon lost to the Kiwi, he stopped all production of water, and is on the verge of committing a Half-Life 2 beta. And we gotta find 6 keys to get into the water factory and stop him. Sounds easy enough. Also, this game isn't made for 1920 by 1080 for some reason. I can see the line in the cutscene. The rest of this game I would amount to being a simple collectathon, a key fetching quest that goes across multiple levels, each one having their own theme and challenges, whilst also being a reference to a game or a specific level from a game. And this is what I was able to get down. Birdie Beach is a reference to Treasure Trove Cove from Banjo-Kazooie. Tulsa Horse Forest has a Legend of Zelda thing going on. Strangely Familiar Jungle calls back to Donkey Kong 64. Bright Islands, fucking Kirby 64, Mac Race, Mario Kart 64 except it's on NyQuil, Moody Mansion. I would say it's close to Big Boo's Haunt from Super Mario 64. You know, the one where the piano gets freaky and eats your ass. You even start off in a bar like Conker's Bad Fur Day. It is also fucking easy to understand the puzzles in this. Not only because it's so dead simple that a newborn baby could master this game, but because there are NPCs in every map that either hint or straight up tell you what to get or where to get it. Take Birdie Beach for example. We gotta lift a cage in order to get the key, so gather some balloons to lift it up. What's that? Can't find all the balloons? Go do something else then. Get a banana to feed this ape escape reject. Go gather some coins for this giant sack here, who just happened to have dropped their money by accident. Throw some spitballs at Frogan. Stare at the water factory. That's a nice detail. But as well in the early game, you need to be aware of Macbat's limitations. After flapping 5 times, he will get tired and coast down. Because to have him just go on endlessly flying would make the game trivial and kill whatever opposition there is. I mean, who the hell would think that? Get taught on how to move your camera and how to turn on an Instagram filter. Wow, such authentic, very 90s, much retro. Come the fuck on. But who am I to fucking say? All with the intent to get the key, and that's it. A pretty nice seat warmer, huh? Maybe up next the game might offer something a little more challenging, right? Tulsa Horse Forest. Get things, get gear, make reference, help out Schwarzenegger from the Curse of the Sequels, do some puzzles, blow up the rabbit of... Who the fuck are you?
No Python.
Get the Holy Grail, return, get key.
I win.
I mean, the puzzles were at least different, but they don't really challenge the player that much. Strangely familiar jungle. Literally the same cycle as Birdie Beach. Get balloons, shoot ghosts, get coins for the fucking sack again. Are you asking to get mugged? Keep that shit at home or put it on an offshore account. You're gonna lose everything at this rate. Right up, here the only voice actor in this game.
Ridiculously hot, isn't it? Tell you what, this game needs a snow world.
That's Grant Kirkhope, ladies and gents, the main composer behind Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, and he's still going. But that's it. Just a nostalgic cameo and no other voice roles. Hope he got his paycheck. And get out. Do you sense a pattern here? Small levels that are designed around you collecting things, getting things for other characters, hit the odd button every once in a while, get the key. I mean, if anything, that is what the gameplay for Macbat 64 is. You could literally describe the game in a single paragraph. Oh, fuck my tits. If you're persistent enough, you could beat this game within 30 to 45 minutes. It's a speedrunner's paradise. But that's why you never really hear much about this game, because there's just not much to it. I mean, what else is there? Oh, they make references to the Nintendo 64 and the games of that era. Yeah. And doesn't look like they're doing much at all and are just doing that, making references to it. It's got a simple plot, sure. Simple plots aren't inherently bad. You know that John Carmack quote where a story in a game is like a story in a porn movie? It's expected to be there, but it's not that important. Doesn't really work if your game's got an intense story and there's a writer behind it. Maybe for something slightly simple that is just dumb fun. But Macbat 64 is so simple it has nothing going on. It doesn't even really fit in with that quote. It's like an opposite extreme. Apparently somewhere in a dark room, the evil Melon King is still alive and has been keeping tabs on what Macbat and Kiwi have been up to. Especially that one level that I haven't even done yet. I know Kiwi is kinda important in the Seatro universe, but he hasn't really been doing much apart from saying shit and just being in the background. And there's literally no references to their friendship until now. He's as much as a good friend the same way the fucking television is a good friend to Macbat. Or hell, the fucking pirate is a better friend than the Kiwi. If there was a game where you played as Kiwi and Macbat, I'd understand that. Who fucking cares about Bright Islands? It's just collecting shit. Though I do like the part with the Zeppelin, even if it's temporary. Tubular City. Yeah, this level is about as subtle as it is with its nostalgia as it is getting shot. What's this? Platforming? Oh, you shouldn't have. Okay, there's a little bit more going on here. Like you gotta find some garbage for the DeLorean, which here uses batteries. They got a DDR thing going on, which feels more mid to late 2000s, not really 90s. Though I could be wrong and I can't be bothered. But like anything in this game, it's practically nothing. Yeah! Woo! Alright! Do you like my moves? I call this move not giving a shit! You gotta play some arcade games, go 88 miles per hour, dodge the Donkey Kong barrels even though they don't make much of a difference, and go back to the future. Mac Race. A nice change of pace, but it feels so starved. 2 power-ups aren't enough to make it interesting, there's no drifting or boost mechanic before the start, and all of it to be regulated to a single track makes it feel worse. It's inoffensive, but severely limited. Moody Mansion wants to think it's clever, but it's fairly linear. And what it is key fetching hell. Find one key to go to another room, then get another key and do a puzzle. This white banana caught me off guard at first, but after following the usual route, I got it covered. Get a key, meet Macbat's grandfather, I think. You sure this ain't his second stepmom-in-law? Follow the sign on the wall, follow the sequence, and then get the key. Well damn, I feel like a fucking genius already. So finally we get access to the water factory, in which I was hoping for a Spy Who Loved Me sequence where the ship swallows the submarine whole, but this thing ain't moving. But we're given flippers, so we're going to be doing a lot of swimming. And it's much of the same thing, even though now we're using a balloon to help a star reach the skies, and a cameo from a previous game no one gives a shit about. It's business as usual. Don't even be scared of the bonefish. It's a PNG. It has something on its tail. like Unagi, from Super Mario 64, the eel that embodies the extreme terror and fear and insanity of the fat, juicy, girthy American. At this point, the evil Melon King is ready to take matters into his own hands. And now we're at a boss battle, which has been surprisingly absent from this game.
Oh, yes.
And it's fucking Metaton. Of course it is. And even though this is the only boss battle in this game, the Melon King is an absolute pushover. Dodge attacks, shoot, lead his hands onto a button that shoots a cannon directly at him for some reason. Don't worry if you screw up, because you can't even die in this game. Fuck, even the games this game took inspiration from had its main character die. Blow him up, jump from rubble to rubble, hit the cannon one last time, beat him, we're done. Look, everyone's here. They're gonna tell me congratulations or something. You won Kiwi 65? You didn't even do shit! But if that wasn't enough for you, why not try the bonus missions? Even though we're getting much of the same thing. The first one was a case of dodging saw blades until the end. The second one felt like it was referencing something I didn't get. Creepy, and it feels like it has hints to LSD Dream Emulator. This one is also inconsequential. A paper tiger, mind you. The third one, I would say, breaks this game, but only if you were exploring hard enough. You needed to find 4 golden kiwi statues throughout the whole game. Some of the characters here hinting at where they could be, so I'm not gonna bother. But what happens when you get all 4 of them? You get infinite flight. So essentially the game's difficulty is non-existent if it wasn't already. The 4th one is collecting a bunch of Christmas ornaments. Nothing too special. The 5th one is actually only on the Nintendo Switch version of this game, but I don't believe I was missing much. You go to a planet full of mummies, and you set up the self-destruct, you run out, and the planet blows up. Yeah. Or if that doesn't satisfy you enough, you can go for the Easter eggs. And this game's got a lot. But because of infinite flight, we can access them pretty easily. First one is at Birdie Beach, in which the water factory is a facade, and instead takes you to the outside of the bar in the Kiwi Bean. Well, that sucks. I don't even get a fucking drink from this. Another is beyond the boundaries of the strangely familiar jungle, and instead that takes you to... Sonic Adventure? Hey man, I don't know. Maybe when Seattle stops busting a load over Tori. The third one in Tubular City is literally just an alleyway. To get mugged or to have Chinese food. How the fuck do I leave? The 4th one is outside of the boundaries at the temple. And it takes us to the most obscure reference that this game has to offer. From what I've read, this is a reference to Terranigma, which I guess makes somebody excited out there. And that's it for me. Yeah, that is Macbat 64. A very cute but severely simple game that is so reliant on making past references that it forgets to do its original thing. I already have an answer for this, but to clarify, this is not a jab at Seattle and all the work he has done for this game, because there is a lot to see here. The characters are cute, every level has its own theme, its own specific characters, at least sometimes, which makes this world feel bigger. And they're pretty good looking, seeing as it's trying to replicate the Nintendo 64 aesthetic, especially since all of this is done on the Unity engine, which is a definite plus given what everyone else does with Unity. It's only $2 on Steam, so you're not gonna lose much. Every Easter egg, as limited as some are unique, especially the Terranigma thing and the Sonic Adventure ripoff. Those ones I wouldn't have expected. Oh yeah, the music. I forgot about that. The music is composed by J.D. Moser, and they did a solid job at emulating the bouncy, lively feel that some music tracks that Grant Kirkhope would have done back then for the Nintendo 64 games. So all of this isn't from a place of laziness or disinterest, or even a lack of passion. I said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that a lot of this came from the heart and soul of one person is an amazing feat and should be respected. unless if said person is a fucking asshole about it. With this game, Seattle was willing to do more with his IP and push himself a little more. I mean, my ass is still stuck in RPG Maker. Nobody always gets everything right the first time. Even though I had given this game a lot of shit for being simple, and will still do that, if it was a stepping stone for the games that would come after, I would understand. And this game does feel like that, which for this feels like both a blessing and a curse. Whilst there's a lot to see, there isn't a lot to do. The gameplay is casual at best and repetitive at worst. The puzzles, if you can call them that, feel like an afterthought. Some puzzles are even being recycled like the coin gathering one, and even though there are some change-ups like the DDR dance from Tubular City and the Tesla coil segment in Moody Mansion, they don't really feel all that rewarding. And with everything being so dumb shit easy, it feels like the game is playing itself. It's like the game is nothing more but an interactive cutscene and the player is just along for the ride. It feels sterile. There's also no stakes in this plot, no sense of urgency or driving force, no element of consequences or even death. As I said previously, you can't die in this game.
I'm just gonna go off the cliff. Ah, fucking nice, mate. And I didn't even die. You can't even die right in this game.
Okay, so it's late, I'm in bed, my headset is busted, so I'm gonna record this bit on my phone, because at this point I cannot be fucking bothered anymore. Another thing that I discovered way after playing this game is that the atmosphere is just too still. It's flat. There isn't much in terms of background ambience, no echo, there's just music. And when there is ambience, it comes off as tacky, like it was a last-minute addition. Kinda like this whole segment I got going right now. There isn't much in terms of lighting or shading, especially in places where I'd wish it was more atmospheric like Moody Mansion and the Beginner's Bar. And the sound effects are just fine. They're there. And this combination of elements, these lacking parts that could have made the world much more lively, is what I believe throws this game off. I mean, think about it. If you are going to a place, if you're going to like a bar or a jungle, you expect to like hear a little something. Whether that's just like people moving around, furniture moving around, glasses tinkering, or leaves rustling. There's none of that. It's like you're playing the game in an anechoic chamber. What the fuck am I doing?
So the water factory has stopped making water. So what happens to Kiwi Land then? Oh, nothing? No enemies around to fight, the ocean doesn't dry up, and we progressively see the effect it has on the world as we progress further into the game? Well, that's fucking underwhelming. Sure, some of the Nintendo 64 games were like that, but they always kept things going and kept the player interested with more unique layouts, more challenging puzzles, a stronger atmosphere, a stronger soundtrack, but there were also those that did more with their plot. For example, Banjo-Kazooie. And look, I know this game keeps popping up a lot, but when a lot of this game is paying homage to the Nintendo 64, especially with designs that are meant to resemble old Rare games, how the fuck am I not supposed to draw those lines? But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie had Gruntilda the Witch kidnap Banjo's sister for her beautiful looks, so that she can look beautiful, and Banjo's sister to be made ugly. And if you fail, you see Banjo's sister become Shrek, and Gruntilda become a gorgeous bitch that I would find when surfing in private. Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. A kid gets possessed and threatens to crash the moon into the whole planet within 3 days. Time travel shenanigans ensue. Look, I'm not asking for this to be an epic, complex, intense, globe-trotting adventure where we gotta plunder on the topics of morality and philosophy and existence, and you got Mark Laidlaw as your writer. A simple and comfy game is always welcome, but maybe perhaps this game is a little too simple, and instead of comfy, it's mistaken for comatose. In fact, you know those wings you get at the bonus temple? Yeah, well, they completely trivialized the whole game, and you can't really reset the game back to scratch. Once you got them, you have them forever, so replayability is non-existent. Okay, so the gameplay side of things is not that impressive, the story side is a bit disconnected, and you start feeling like a quadriplegic. What else does this game have going? Nostalgia! Because fuck gameplay! We got polygons, we got references, we got levels that remind you of those awesome games the 90s kids usually played, we got CRT TVs, we got MTV, everything can be a throwback. Do you feel cool yet? Hey, do you remember that wacky ass controller? Hey, do you remember the 64DD? Do you remember when Bill Clinton stuck his DD inside Monica Lewinsky? Like seriously, one of the biggest problems with this game is instead of being a nice retro game, the game is relying so hard on its influences to keep itself above water. It does feel like a lot of the focus here is aimed towards nostalgia, to transport you back to a certain point in time and to evoke a specific feel. To relive the hits from another era, whilst forgetting to do more to the game, forgetting to make it more exciting or engaging, or achieving any kind of authenticity to really sell that feeling to the audience. I mean, even the mission complete PNG looks tacky. I literally found this shit on Google. Are you kidding me? It makes the game look cheap. Take away all the references and colorful worlds, and we're left with a formulaic routine that is just a bit unremarkable. Where does one draw the line between wearing your influences on your sleeve and being severely codependent on them? Do you know what this game is? It's an appetizer, a starter, an hors d'oeuvre, a little thing to get you prepared before the main course, the impossible whopper before you get to your Wagyu steak, to dip your toes into the water, to get a basic understanding of things. You want to get into old style games, you play something like this to get you prepped, and after that you move on to pseudo regalia. Sciatro's later games have become more refined, more varied, more lively, they are filled with personality, they're pretty challenging, they're a lot more bright and colorful, they don't even cost much. And even though they're not exactly perfect, Sciatro has at least covered a lot of problems that I have expressed with Macbat 64. I just want to come over and give the guy a hug and say keep up the good work, because comparing his newer work to his older stuff, the difference is night and day. I do wonder what a sequel to Macbat 64 would look like, even though that would be called Super Kiwi 64, but also if his future games were the same quality as Macbat 64, I would be a lot less forgiving. I also have to note that Macbat came out in 2017. Around this time, retro-style games were a thing, but they were kind of a novelty and a gimmick. Some of them did have their own lore and stories to make them expansive. And there's Cuphead, that really leaned in with its old animation style, and immortalizing those pretentious video game journalists as nothing more but a bunch of hapless retards that don't know anything about maintaining a job or basic human functions. But these types of games were simply aimed towards evoking nostalgia while still functioning like games. And that's about it. You had like one run of it and that's it. No one thought about it afterwards. Also, not many were aiming for that feel of old 3D polygons. A lot of them were pixel games. There could be some games out there that were toying with the possibility of the feel of the Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and PS1, but as far as my knowledge goes, this is the first game that I actually saw at the time that did this. Funny enough, this sort of thing would be refined more by other indie devs after the game was released. Literally the next year. I mean, look at this. OK Normal would lean into its PS1 aesthetic much more and create a more authentic feel than just a fucking TikTok filter, and have a more compelling theme going for it. All of which is made in Unity. Dusk would revive the Quake-like movement and atmosphere whilst also telling its own story, which is also made in Unity. And it just kept on growing and growing as the years went on. And now we're in a bit of a renaissance of retro-style games, some that are unique in what they bring, and some that are almost so true to the style that they are portraying, you could mistake them for genuine launch titles. And it's great. Corn Kid 64, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Pseudo Regalia, Crow Country, .45 Parabellum Bloodhound, 500 caliber contracts, Peripeteia, the fucking boomer shooter subgenre. And I could go on, but I'm sure you got the point. This field of games has since then been studied and polished, composed of passionate indie devs that are bringing their own ideas to this medium, that wanted to pay their respects to an old era of gaming, whilst adding their own creative twist. So it too could be as good, if not better than its inspirations, made to share that calm, classic feeling no matter who you are or how old you are. And that is when nostalgia is at its best. When it's shared and it invites other people to learn and experience and be invested, to encourage them to keep going, dig deeper, discover what inspired the game you were playing. Not acting like a fucking lolcow and pretending that you got some authority over the most circumstantial and out of reach bullshit possible. Like you're boasting over a participation trophy made out of paper. Did Macbat 64 start this trend of 3D retro style games? I don't know, I doubt it. But did it really need to? It was taking its baby steps, just so that Sciatro can understand a bit more what to do next time. And has only proven with every game he's made since, he is getting better. Whew. Alright. Hopefully this is a shorter video now, and I can relax for the time. Thanks for coming by. Maybe later I can get to talking about, oh, maybe, the Dishwasher, Vampire Smile, or both Manhunt games, or Doom, or Dust and Elysian. Huh? Another old-style game? And it's got Vaporwave everywhere? Fuck.